just yesterday, I was talking to a fellow Christian, someone I know, an acquaintance, and we were talking about the upcoming election. And he said he is considering voting for Trump because, I mean, if Trump is really running, he's considering voting for him because he said, well, the last time Trump was in office, there was money in our pockets. That's what he said. And I said, maybe we should explore that a little bit more.
Isn't that the truth?
So, but I've heard a number of people say that. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
You see, Hitler and Mussolini, two vicious gangsters and fascists, ran in part on a program to make sure the trains ran on time and make sure there was money in the pocket of their supporters. And they did that. So Hitler put money in the pocket of the Germans, and you ended up with a Holocaust for our precious Jewish brothers and sisters.
That's interesting,
Isn't
right?
that something?
That is something.
So if your only view of politics is just money in your pocket, then you would put up with genocide. You would put up with stop and frisk of police that's marginalized and dehumanizing so many young black and brown brothers and sisters.
Yes.
You would put up with extreme wealth inequality as long as some of that money is in your pocket. Oh, how narrow, how truncated, how parochial any kind of politics would be if it's solely and exclusively about, or even primarily about, just money in my pocket. See, so we got to understand what it is to be a citizen. We've got to have a moral and spiritual dimension to our understanding of what it is to be a citizen. If to be a citizen is just money in pocket, then that's just being a consumer and a money grabber. And if it's all just about money, somewhere I read the root of evil, the source of evil, fundamental pillar of evil is what the OJs call love of money. Money, 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 money.
It is the root of evil.
Listen to little OJs and
Yes.
gamble and huff and then go read the Bible. Because that's the materialism that blinds us to moral and spiritual realities. Now, I do understand, folks, they should have money in their pocket.
Right.
You know, I'm not against that, you see. But if all you're talking about is money and not morality, you're going to end up with an immoral regime that's dropping money in your pocket.
And I'm glad you brought up Hitler and tied that to how money was being put into the pockets of supporters. And so people turned a blind eye to genocide.
Absolutely.
I really hope that resonates with a lot of people in the audience, right? So I'm really glad you brought that point up. We have to have a moral compass at the end of the day. I absolutely agree with that.
That's exactly. And we could bring it home. You know, you got a whole lot of Americans in the 1830s that just wanted money in their pocket. And when so much of that money was coming from cotton picked by my ancestors that went to Lancashire mills in Britain that produced the highest levels of wealth known to the modern world, but don't want to say a mumbling word about the barbarity of white supremacist slavery. The same would be true with Jim Crow, the neo-slavery that set in place 15 years after the end of slavery itself in America. Just put money in my pocket. I'm not going to say nothing about the lynching. I'm not going to say nothing about segregation. I'm not going to say nothing about apartheid-like realities in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas. No, I just want some money in my pocket. Oh, please. Please. What happens when the catastrophe comes to your house?
There we go.
Oh, then all of a sudden, people look at the world very different. That's what makes you think that when the catastrophe's on one side of town, that it's irrelevant. It becomes relevant only when it comes to your neighborhood. What happened to the golden rule? See, when you view life as a gold rush, you end up worshiping the golden calf. And the golden rule becomes he or she who has the gold rules. And if you don't have any gold, you still get crushed. But what happens when the crusher gets close to your house? See, that's the challenge here.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up that point because I think that's part of why I always speak up for a variety
Absolutely.
of different communities. Just, basically because if I see something happening over here to my brothers and sisters, what's to say it's not coming? Like the issues aren't coming to me next.
Exactly.
And so, I think it is important for us always to look out for one another.
Absolutely.
And to, again, speak out against the injustices that we are seeing around the world. And to not just be concerned with money. And yes, like you said, money is important. But if you're receiving money or your money's increasing and part of the contract is to turn a blind eye to injustice, that's really problematic.
That's very true. Because you want to be a person of integrity, honesty, and decency.
I agree.
To be
And
just
decency,
a decent person is to be concerned about other people. And that's other people across the board, But these days, just to opt for decency makes you a revolutionary.
Right?
Isn't that something?
It does.
Makes you a revolutionary. Oh, I see that you want to cut so radically against the grain just because I'm concerned about Jose and Juanita on the other side of town, or concerned about Paul McGillicuddy, Brother Rosenberg, Sister Farah, and Brother Muhammad. That makes me a revolutionary. My God, what a world. Well, in some ways, it's always been like that.
It has always been like that, I feel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. So yes, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time to my program, I am a professor and I am the creator and host of this wonderful series. And you should keep up with the series because I always have amazing speakers. And of course, I'm speaking with an amazing, amazing scholar today.